All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, welcoming you back to the Rankin Technical College Summer Academy Web Design. In our last video, we started to create our index.html file. Now, maybe even when I went through this stuff, maybe it didn't make a lot of sense to you. So, if you want to find out more, maybe you have no desire to find out anymore, but if you do want to find out more, you can go out to what's called w3schools.com. And again, I'll keep putting these up here so that you can see them. In fact, let's build a URL list. So there it is. All right, so we can go out there if we want to. Why would we want to do that? Well, notice they have tutorials. And they have one that says Learn HTML. And it's an HTML5 tutorial. So you can go out there and it'll teach you from no knowledge to creating a fairly sophisticated website. And this is the HTML portion. Once you get done with that, you can go over to the CSS portion and take that tutorial. Once you get done with that, you can go to the JavaScript and you can take that tutorial, if you're so inclined to do so. All right. So I'm going to jump back into here. Okay, I just want to mention that I'm going to put a couple comments that are in here so you have some kind of an idea of what I was doing. Now, if I want to write comments, I have to hold down on my shift key, put in a greater than sign and an exclamation point and a minus minus. And notice how everything turned green. I'm starting to put in a comment. So I'm going to put in here set character set. And then a minus minus with a greater than sign. So there's a comment. All right, so this says, I'm going to put in here set IE fix. Set title. Set meta tag, description, and viewport. Link style sheets. And I should mention what these two lines of code here are doing is we're telling the system to go out into our CSS folder and grab this normalize min.css and grab this main.css. We're not using this one. These two files are the same, except this one has been what's called minified. So we've taken out all of the unnecessary white space. We can look at that, but let's not do it right now. All right. So we're saying to bring those in. Here we're saying add modernizer, and that's not spelled incorrectly, fix for older browsers. So that's saying if I've got an older browser, please still make me be able to handle this. All right. And this will say add jQuery. All right. And finally, this will say add our own JavaScript. So I took a couple minutes there and put some comments in here. You may think that's a waste of your time, but that provides what's called internal documentation. Okay? Now, I'm going to try to write this in such a way that I'm going to teach you the latest and greatest. And I'm going to start by creating what's called a div tag. A div means division. All right, so I'm going to grab a piece of this document and put it into what's called a division. And I'm going to say the ID for that division is, or the way we'll refer to it is, container. When you have a beginning tag, you need an ending tag. Okay? So right now, I've removed that line of code. I removed that line of code that said, hello world from HTML5 boilerplate. So if I run this now, I don't see anything. There's my first site home. See that first site home up there? That's this. That's my title. All right. So I'm going to start putting in my content. And as I add things, I'm going to show you exactly what they're doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is to add a header. And that header is going to say, just have what's called an H1 tag that says, my first site. And if I run this, there's my first site. Okay, that's a start. I now have some content in there. And notice that this header, there's the beginning tag, there's the ending tag, and that header is inside of that div. All right? That's the first thing I want to do. If you go out to most websites, all right, if you go out to most websites, let's see, if I go out to YouTube, for example. Now, that's not a real, well, that's, we can use that one. Do you notice here how when I go out to YouTube, I've got this area that's right here, home or trending or subscriptions, all right? What that is what's called a navigation bar. And we're going to build one of those as well. So a navigation bar goes within what are called nav tags. All right. And in those nav tags, we're going to have what's called an unordered list. And in that unordered list, we're going to have 3 list items. Right? Now there's nothing in them yet, but if I ran this, what you're going to notice is there's my unordered list. All right? This is all stuff that we'll look at and be going over more as we go through this. So I'm going to say here, a href equal index.html, and this will end up becoming, or being, what's referred to as our homepage. So what did I just do? Again, let's run it. There's our homepage. And if I click it, it brings me right to where I am. No big surprise, I'm already at the homepage. All right, so let me copy this, and then we'll make some changes to it. So I'll copy it and copy it. Well, the second page we're going to make is what's going to be called an about page. And the third page that we make is going to be called what's called a contact page. We're going to go over all those in just a few minutes. Now, I'm going to run this again, and if I click on the about link or on the contact link, I'm going to get errors with each one of them because as of right now, those pages don't exist. So my home page keeps me right where I am. My about page gives me an error. It says I'm trying to go to the about page and I couldn't find that file. Contact does the same thing. But what I've done so far is I've created my header, all right, and I've created my navigation area. Okay? So that's what's done so far. And notice everything's kind of in their own area. That is in my that is in my header area. That is in my nav area. All right? So I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to put another one of those H1 tags in that says, welcome. So what did I just add? There's the welcome. So this is my site so far. It doesn't look very good, all right, but it's functional. One of the 3 pages work and the other 2 pages right now do not work, all right? So what I want to do is I want to come in and add my image. Now, if you look here, looks like I don't have an image in my image file. So I'm going to grab that one, and I'll try to make sure I've got that one out there for you. So we've got this sample image that looks just like this. Not much. All right. And what size is that image? If I take my mouse over it, it may tell me the size, but it doesn't. So if I want to know the size, I can right mouse click on it and tell it to open, and I can open it in Internet Explorer. There's the image, and then right mouse click and choose properties. And it says that this size of this is 259 by 194. And I'll have to remember that in just a minute. The 259 is what's called the width of the image, and the 194 is what's called the height of the image. So I want to put in an image tag. Where is it? My source is it's in a thing that's called, it's in a folder that's called images. And it's called sample.jpg. Now, if all I put in was this, if that's all I put in, it would run. There's my image. It says it doesn't find it, which surprises me, but we'll look in just a second to make sure that it's there. All right, so let's look. So File, Open. Oh, it's in IMG. It's not in a thing called Images, it's in a thing called IMG. So now let's try to run it, and there's my image. Okay, so it's starting to come into place. It's starting to look the way we want it to look. Now, what I should do when I create an image, and I'm putting this on multiple lines just so that you can see it okay, but you don't have to. You should always put what's called an alt tag in. Okay, and I'm going to put in here sample image. And then I'm purposely going to introduce a mistake. I'm going to change this back again to images. And I'm going to run this. See how it says sample image right there? That's the alternative text that we get in there. That's also important if the person who's using our website is sight impaired, because a screen reader will read their sample image for them. Now, that's not the greatest alternative text tag. There's our image back again, but it works. Also, what you typically want to do to make it easier for the browser is let them know that the width of the image, which we said was 259, and the height of the image, which was 194. And the reason we typically put that in, it's going to look exactly the same when we run it. No difference. But we let the user know how much space to put aside for our image. Okay? All right. Now, what we want to put in here next is what's called some placeholder text. And we're going to put in, oh, I don't know, we're going to put in at least a couple paragraphs of placeholder text. Now, there's a famous site that you can go out to grab this that's called Lipsum. Oops, let me try that again. Lipsum.org. All right. Again, as I'm adding to my URL list, I'll keep doing this. And there it is. Lipsum.lipsum.com. And if I wanted 2 paragraphs, I can come in here and just say, give me 2 paragraphs, and hit enter. And it gives me 2 paragraphs. And I could use those, but they're really boring. It says, lorem ipsum dolor, sit amet, etc. I can't read all that stuff. But there's, over the years, there's different lorem ipsum. So I'm going to type in TV lorem ipsum. And notice if I go to tvipsum.com, I get a bunch of old TV show themes and songs. So there they are. So I'm going to grab this right there. I'm going to copy it to my clipboard, and I'm going to paste it in. But before I do that, I'm going to put it with, since it's a paragraph of text, I'm going to put that within what are called paragraph tags. Now, it's really hard to read right now, so I am going to try to pretty it up just a tad. You don't have to do this. It won't look any different on the screen if you do it or don't do it. All right? But now, as you look in here, notice I now have some text. All right? And really, that's not very much text. It's kind of a short paragraph. So I'm going to go and copy it again. Okay? Now, as we look at it, there's more text. I like that better. All right? So there's a start, and then we've got another paragraph right here. Copy. And I'm going to put that within paragraph tags. And I'm going to come in here and again paste it in. Again, it's going to look very ugly. So I'm going to hit enter a bunch of times. Again, you don't have to do this. But I like it when I can take a look at everything that I'm putting onto a web page, because it makes more sense to me to do that. You may or may not agree, but either way it's fine. I noticed in here too, I've got something in here. There. All right, so as of right now, this is our website. Doesn't look like too much, but believe it or not, we're almost done, at least with this video. The only other thing that I want to do is I want to come down to the bottom here, and right before I end, we put in a header, so we're going to put in a footer that goes at the bottom of the page. And what I'd like you to put in here in paragraph tags is copyright ampersand copy, and then put your name. So I'll put in Jeff Scott, but you put in your name here. And 2017, which is the current year. Okay? So we've now finished our first page, and if we take a look at it, it sure doesn't look like much. But we'll be fixing it up. Before we fix it up, though, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our About page. And we're going to do that next in the next video.